Listen, Stal, Pastor Kenny is super ticked for a couple different reasons. Okay, first and foremost, last week when we got back from the youth trip, somebody didn't gas up the van and somebody didn't sweep it out.
Well, I thought you were doing that.
No, you were doing that.
Okay.
Also, last week after Wednesday night youth group, there was a whole bunch of crumbs left on the floor and somebody did not vacuum it up.
Well, see, I just figured, after the game, it was hectic. Custodial will take care of it.
And last Sunday, on Sunday morning, the worship in the student room was so loud that everybody in the sanctuary can hear it, and Pastor Kenny is not happy.
No, I know. It's the sound guy, this new sound guy we got, he doesn't know.
But listen, one more thing that I'm personally kind of offended by. Somebody spray painted Stallion Rules, Trevor Drools in white spray paint on the church dumpster. Hey guys, I'm Trevor.
And I'm Stallion.
And welcome to the Youth Room.
Hey guys, we've got an incredible resource with Easter just around the corner for you guys. It's a mini movie called Paid in Full.
Yeah, this is a really great mini movie. The whole concept behind it is that Jesus, when he died on the cross and resurrected from the dead, he paid for any past sins that existed within our life. What a great thing to celebrate with your students or within your church. So make sure you go grab that mini movie. Stal, where can they find it?
Glad you asked. 1230.media. We actually have an Easter section there where you can go and find not just this mini movie, but any other resources that we have. But this mini movie I love because you can use it in programming. You can post it to your social media. There's a lot of different ways that you can interact with it.
Yeah, sure. You can grab service packs there, series in a box, other mini movies. Go check out that resource and make sure you utilize them for your student ministry or for your church. Both of them be really, really great. Go check them out. But today, Stal, we want to talk about all the ways that we've made mistakes and had to say, my bad, in the four walls of the youth room. I know you don't know anything about this, right?
Well, no, I've made my fair share of mistakes.
I mean, all of us have made some kind of mistake at some point in time. We've done something wrong, right? And we have a choice to make. Allegedly. Right. But the truth is, anytime that we have made a mistake, there's a choice we have to make. Is this going to be something that we learn from, that we move from, or is this going to be something that kind of like sticks us right there, making the mistake and having a serious problem with those that we serve? So
we decided to come up with a couple of steps for you guys to process, and that has been helpful for us whenever we do make a mistake. How do we face it? What do we do with it? And so we want to share it with you guys today.
Here's how you handle failure in the youth room.
Number one, you've got to expect it. You see, the truth is, if you're in ministry and in ministry for any length of time, and especially student ministry, failures, mistakes, they are going to happen.
Listen, we are not perfect people. Okay? It's going to happen. We're going to make some kind of failure. We're going to do something wrong. Truth is, when I got into student ministry, I was always kind of terrified that I was going to make some kind of mistake. I was going to do something that the pastor was going to get upset with. Somebody in the youth ministry was going to get upset with. I was going to tick a parent off. And the truth is, I did all of those things. But I'm still here today.
That's good. I'm glad you're here. I think people say to err is human.
Yeah.
It is normal to make mistakes, and we're going to make mistakes. Now, it's important that we don't have an attitude of like, hey, it's going to happen.
Yeah, we're not out to try to.
Exactly. We still want to try not to. We still want to do our best at what we do. But we have to understand that it is a natural part of ministry. It's a natural part of our work.
Yeah. But if you make a mistake and you expect to make mistakes, the second thing you got to do, and this is a really crucial piece, you got to own up to it.
That's right.
You got to own up to it. If you make some kind of mistake, the worst thing that you can do is try to pass blame off to somebody else and try to blame it on somebody else within the student ministry, within the church. If you make a mistake, make sure you say, sorry, my bad, own up to it.
Yeah, this is really important, especially in church ministry and cultures where we tend to already, as student ministry, get the blame for all the messes, all the mistakes, all of the broken stuff. If we develop a habit of going and owning up to it and saying, hey, last night we did this, or we forgot that, whenever we own up to it, then when something else happens that wasn't us, I think people will know, no, student ministry owns their mistakes. This wasn't them.
Yeah, there's a reason that we in student ministry have this kind of reputation, because too often we don't own up to it. We pass blame on somebody else. I made a mistake years ago of bringing back a church bus after a student event. I was supposed to gas it up. I was supposed to clean it out. Guess what? I did neither of those things. And the next day or 2 days later, the senior citizens in the church took this bus on a trip and they were not happy. It was not clean. It was not gassed up. Guess who got the blame? This guy right here. I had a choice. Do I blame somebody else or do I own up to it?
And they forgive you and you guys live happily ever after?
No, they were very, very, very upset. But I did go and say, hey, listen, my fault. I want to take care of that. In fact, I went to them myself and apologized for the mistake that I'd made.
And this may sound natural, but it really sometimes can be difficult to do.
Yeah.
Especially when it's not just circumstances, but to think like, hey, man, I really just should have done that. And so own up to your mistakes. The third one is to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
This is another crucial part. It's tough to go through that whole process and then make that mistake again over and over and over again.
Yeah, if we don't learn from our mistakes, we are destined to repeat them. They will continue to happen within our life. And so I like to say, don't waste your mistake. If you've made some kind of mistake, if you've done something wrong, make sure that you allow God to work in your life in some kind of way where you can move past that and you can find kind of a new way of doing ministry.
When I was in student ministry starting off, I think the hardest thing for me was the communication piece.
Yeah.
I would get these emails or text messages. I would read them and think, oh, that's great. I don't have time to answer. I'll do this later. And put it aside, and I would forget about it. And I got complaints or things would fall through the cracks. And I had to own up to those things, but I also had to learn from it. So I've developed a system now where I don't open an email, I don't open a text message unless I know I can address it right then and there so that I don't forget.
That's good. If you've made a mistake, then make sure you have some kind of system that takes care of that, or make sure you make some kind of adjustment to take care of that. Learn from your mistakes so you don't continually repeat them. Lastly, if you learn from your mistake, then the last thing, maybe most importantly, what you have to do is you have to move past it.
So good.
Move past your mistake. Too many youth pastors who I know, including myself in my own life, I've made a mistake and I've found myself continually beating myself up and not moving forward to make a difference in students' lives once again.
I think for this to happen and to happen well, it's crucial that you know who you are in Christ, your identity with Him, but also your role with the team. Make sure that you have these relationships and connections with your senior pastor, your leadership, or people around you. So when you make a mistake and you've apologized and you've owned up for it, now you can move on guilt-free.
Yeah, this was a huge shift, not just in my ministry, but just in my life personally, where I began to realize that if I continually beat myself up over mistakes that I'd made, I'm actually robbing myself from the forgiveness that Christ has already given me. He's already forgiven us. So if you made a mistake, own up to it, learn from it, and then move past it. There's more ministry still to be done.
Guys, mistakes are going to happen, and that's part of occupational hazard for us as youth pastors. But listen, we want to hear a little bit from you guys. What are some of the mistakes that you've made, or what are some of the ways that you've handled them, positive or maybe negative? We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, make sure you comment below. Make sure you subscribe. Share it with somebody else that needs to hear this exact same message. And we'll see you next time in the Youth Room.